All right, what's going on, fellas? Welcome back to our road to a 600 bench press. This is the final session of my strength phase before I begin my peaking phase. Those of you who are new, we're probably not hitting 600 this training cycle. This is the first training cycle in the lead up. It's going to take a while. It's going to be a long series. But carrying a little bit of fatigue through my pecs, so we're probably going to peel back the volume a little bit more today to be ready for, I'm hoping to bench 545 on Monday of next week. So we're going to account for that by pulling back our volume a little bit today, recover a little bit better. Yesterday's rest day was much needed, did me a lot of good. So we've got some heavy benching against bands today, and then back in a little bit of grip work. So we're going to get into it. Also, one thing I want to bitch about, I'm sure you guys have seen it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Maybe only I get it. But there is an ad for Tide Pods that has been grinding my gears because it's taking advantage of dumb people. It's basically just saying that, oh, regular detergents are 80% water. Don't pay for water. Get Tide Pods where it's like 80% regular ingredients. Oh my God, they're taking advantage. Being a stupid person is already hard. They don't need to run these ad campaigns, doing them dirty. How much percent of it is water is completely irrelevant for the value. The cost per serving is all that matters. And if that's what we're looking at, Tide Pods are a fucking terrible deal. If you like them because they're convenient, that's fine. But to deceive people because they're dumb into thinking it's better value, brutal. If Tide is going to sue me, send me a cease and desist. I don't check my email anyway. Come get this work. Fuck it. I hate that commercial. Okie dokie. Bing bong. I have returned for a voiceover, and this went damn well. I was really worried when I was first starting because my pecs felt really tight, felt really fatigued. Didn't know if I was kind of functioning at an elevated injury risk. But as I got warm, as I started to get psyched up, things started going really well. It's kind of to be expected. This is my tertiary bench day, so I bench, rest, bench again, rest, and then bench again. So only one day of between them, leading us to this tertiary day. So it's going to be expected. It's okay to train under fatigue for strength sports. That's just going to happen. As long as you're comparing apples to apples and comparing tertiary days to tertiary days, it's still a great measure of progress. You can't necessarily compare them to your primary days where you're fresher. But that being said, my tertiary days are chugging along and they're better than the past tertiary day. Yeah, man, these are going really well. As I warmed up, I felt like my safety was good, ready to push these. Like I said, I've made a lot of my best gains under fatigue conditions on these secondary and tertiary days. Now I get 2 days without benching compared to the other ones before my primary bench day next week on Monday, where I would like to do 545. That'll be a real first test. If that moves really well, I'm in great condition. This 460 with bands moved quite well. Don't ask me what the bands weigh. I don't have an idea. If I had like a luggage scale, I could tell you, but I don't really worry about it as long as it's taking about 10% off the bar, which sounds about right. I did 520. On the regular bench, I did 460 here, taking about 10% off the straight weight. Then I just kind of track the weights on the bar and leave the bands as a fixed quantity. Then drop back to this back off set of 425 for 5, which is a rep PR. Band tension's been a little variable, but still going pretty darn well. All right, howdy there, fellas. The session is a wrap, and damn, that went well. You have my apologies. I didn't really want to film the back work. I was gonna bluff and say, oh, it's because it's boring. I've got deadlifts tomorrow, so it's not very hard. And it is boring and not very hard. But that's not why I didn't show it, because I know some of you guys are dorks like myself, and you're very curious what light sessions look like and what the rationale behind them is, and yada yada yada. I didn't film it because it's lame and embarrassing to film myself doing a bunch of single arm cable rows and bodyweight pull-ups. Didn't really care to do that. But that is what I did. I did bodyweight pull-ups, I did single arm cable rows, and I did some bare hand shrugs for a quick back workout. Kind of kept it easy today because we have deadlifts tomorrow. Definitely going to be starting up that road to 880 deadlift series. It's going to be a long one, probably longer than the bench press. But that's kind of part of the idea, is it's not just, oh, road to this lift that I'm right on the cusp of already. I got to show how to get to the cusp of it. I just finished up kind of the rehab phase for my back. Those of you who follow the channel may know I tweaked my back a week out from my last strongman show, rehabbed it pretty quick. Wasn't the worst in the world, still did okay in the show, yada, yada, yada. But I didn't really want to start the road to 880 until I felt like I was starting recording from an uninjured point because that almost feels like a different series. It's just road back to normal. So we'll probably be getting on that soon because I want to make it clear I'm not a goddamn bench specialist. I do other stuff and I work really, really hard at it. So I definitely should document some of it. So taking it a little easy. We have, I believe, 7 plates on the deadlift tomorrow, which should be fun. Don't know if I'm going to do that at the smaller gym here in town, if we're going to be driving into the big gym in the bigger town, or if I'm doing that in the garage. Got to consult with the boss man, Kirsten, to get that figured out. But goddamn, training is going well. It feels really good to write up a plan using the knowledge that I know I have. I've coached a lot of people that are better athletes than I am, unfortunately. You know, I've got 4 guys that are better deadlifters than me. Unfortunately, I got 2 guys that are better squatters than me. For now, I'm the best bencher, which I'm fighting to hold on to. But I know I've got the wherewithal to write up a diet that's effective, to write up a training plan that's effective. I've got the experience, both as a coach and an athlete, to conduct myself mentally through the training cycle, focus on what needs to. But it feels really good when it works anyway. Even if I know the plan was good, to execute it to a T and really see the good results like this feels damn good. Yeah, man, it makes me very happy. I'm way ahead of where I thought I would be. I thought I was going to be scrapping it out for any chance at a 10-pound PR this training cycle, so a 575 bench press. And like I said last episode, man, I have not seen evidence that I can't do a 6-plate bench this training cycle. I'm at my strongest on every bench variation for every rep range. My accessories aren't at their all-time strongest, which is me getting smarter. I used to just kind of number chase my accessories, which I think is a good accountability system for pushing yourself on them for a while. But then once you get to a certain level of a lifter, you'll hear that's one of the most common mistakes. I was just listening to Josh Bryant on Dave Tate's Table Talk, and both of them agreed that number chasing accessories is probably one of their biggest mistakes, right? Because the accessories really are just a means to an end. If you skull crusher more than someone and they bench press more than you, they're just better at their process. You're just arbitrarily chasing something that isn't really the goal. And that's something I've had to really hammer through my giant thick skull is that kind of concept, because number chasing for so long brought me a lot of my muscle mass gains and correlated to my bench going up and up and up. And now it's more like, how can I make these lighter dumbbells? The lighter dumbbells are still pretty heavy, but these lighter dumbbells, like, can I get work out of the 130s instead of having to rig up some 170s like I used to for dumbbell bench and stuff like that. And that's something I've been working on. Like, if you saw Jesus Oliveira has posted like some of his accessory work, and everybody in the comments was like, what the actual hell are you doing using like 65, 70-pound dumbbells for your dumbbell overhead press? And he says, well, I keep it relatively light. It's just a means to an end. It's not meant to directly carry over. And when you're at that level, you're not likely to see carryover. You know, I talk about blah, blah, blah. The higher level athlete you are, the more your specificity needs to rise, right? When we're newer, doing more weight on our dumbbell overhead press might directly carry over to our bench press, and we want to probably take advantage of that. The more advanced we get, the more the thing that's going to carry over, it has to be more and more like the bench press until you get to someone who's really, really finely honed, and it's just like, John Hack doesn't really do much other than deadlifts and pause deadlifts. He'll do some pendlay rows as some assistance work, but I don't think he expects those to carry over per se. It's more just kind of an investment in upper back development to potentiate further success down the future, but he's not saying, well, if I add 10 pounds to this, my deadlift goes up 5 pounds. So this idea of like correlation kind of wanes out with time. And I've been getting better at thinking of, okay, well, you know, my goal is to hit these numbers and these objective metrics of, you know, quality and volume on my main lifts. And then my goal is to just stimulate the muscle with the accessories. I've been doing a little bit better job with that, but the things that matter, the bench accessories, fucking goddamn, I'm strong. I'm really curious to see where the upper end is at. If I get a 5-pound PR, you're going to hear no whining from me. Those are hard to come by. I've worked quite hard, and 5 pounds would be enough for me. I definitely think there's at least 10 there. And I've got this pipe dream that there's a 20-pound PR in me, which would be the first time I've hit one of those in a very, very long time. Been pushing really hard, guys. I know I've been saying that. I don't mean to just like whack myself off and say, oh, I work so hard. But, you know, I'm pushing hard. I'm very fatigued. Sleep sucks. Pushing through a lot of food, keeping up with the coaching is hard. On the supplement side of things, it makes you more mentally volatile, you know, which you got to be a mature person and handle that, not let that affect your personal relationships, because you're ultimately an adult still and accountable for your actions. But it adds up to a lot of stressors. But to see that it's paying off makes it more than worth it. Appreciate you guys following along on the journey. I love you all.